Good evening, Jake. From the Pulp Mortem YouTube website on the internet computer. How is the audio faring? Very good indeed. If nobody else joins, I will not do a live stream at all. Yes. How are you, Jake? Pulp Mortem man? From the internet? Are you typing lots of little sentences into the new anthology? Very good indeed. I'm very good. I have written 19,000 words today of a book which I am not permitted to speak of. I do not know the meaning of the word lie. Good evening, sci-fi fans. I'm going to do a live book haul today, even though nobody is watching me. There is a book. The stream is almost as good as the live stream you performed recently. For 14 seconds or so. Good evening, science fiction fan Carl Francis. I'm doing a very entertaining book haul today, featuring a big pile of books here in the piles. Never mind. The first book in the haul is this book. Shut up, Jake. 4-Day Planet and Lone Star Planet by each Beam PP. A book which features 2 books inside of the one book, which is a novel approach to novels indeed. For who could read 2 books in one book? Not I, for one. Should I read the blurbs, or do you just want to look at them? In such a fashion. New Texas, its citizens figure that name about says it all. The Solar League ambassador to the Lone Star Planet has the unenviable task of convincing New Texans that a through attack is imminent and dangerous. Unfortunately, it's common knowledge that the Throw are evolved from canine ancestors, and not a Texan alive is about to be scared of a talking dog. But unless he can get them to act and fast, there won't be a Texan alive, scared, or otherwise. Very good indeed. A book about Texans gone mental. Sounds very familiar indeed. Another book. This book featuring a scantily clad feminine lady. I may get banned from the internet for displaying such a thing today. It is Raven number 2, A Time of Ghosts, featuring Raven, obviously. From out of the bonds of slavery there arose a warrior feared across all lands, a warrior whose blade was stained with the blood of thousands, man and beast, smiled as she killed, with hair as gold as summer sun, eyes as blue as the heavens, and a body which invited only love, yet dealt bloody, merciless death to her enemies. A book for Tim. If only it were a naked man. He would enjoy it 1,000,000 times the amount. Another book is Paul Anderson's The Byworlder, featuring a lot of eyes in a strange formation on the front. It is impossible for the lively speculative intellect of Paul Anderson to touch the most familiar theme without transmuting to pure it gold. Pure it gold? Pure it gold? Oh. Early in the 21st century, the world is enjoying an uneasy peace with a distinct division between the straight society and the various fringe groups that go to form the by-world. Tension grows, however, over the presence of an alien spaceship that is orbiting the world, bearing a single occupant, the Sigmund. It appears that no one knows how to communicate with the Sigmund. No one knows the purpose of his visit, until two people, one straight and the other a by-world, solve the problems involved, and in so doing trigger off a series of violent plots and counterplots that mount to a frenetic climax. And the cover is orange indeed. Another book is one of Jake the Pulp Motorman's favourite books ever written, The Moon is Hell, by Jin W. Campbell, featuring a spaceman of some description on the front of the book, and some patterns of pink shapes. I do not care if you've read it. I said it was your favourite book. It is great science fiction of the 50s. So says the back of the book. It is a great writer's vision of the first men on the moon. Not as the American space program made it happen, but as it might have been. What sort of accent? I do not know of what you speak, little Jake. Scottish? I am Scottish. I just do not speak with a Scottish accent, for some reason. Another book is this book here. Harry Harrison's Make Room. Make a Room. A book written by a man, and the man was known as Harry Harrison. And this is a book which they made into a feature film called Soylent Green, even though the book is not green at all. A very peculiar turn of events for that film. 1999. Oh. Yes. 1999. Automation, total welfare, and weekends on the moon. Or an overcrowded world that knows that the dawn of the new century is the edge of disaster. A world of starving billions living on lentils, soya beans, and if they're lucky, the odd starving rat. In a city of 35 million people, Andy Rush is engaged in a desperate and lonely hunt for a killer everyone has forgotten. For even in a world such as this, a policeman can find himself utterly alone. Especially if you jump off a building and fall through the air. You are alone in doing that. Another book from this book pile here is Breakthrough by Richard Cowper, which features a very lovely cover indeed. There is a column in the middle, and then there is some sort of eyeball shape. Most likely an eyeball, I believe. Break through. The ability to distinguish reality from fantasy is supposedly the root of sanity. Good evening, Jim the Wizardman. Jim Geldingman, I think your name is, if I am up to tone with my internet people. But if a man lives in two worlds, and both are real, what then? Is he mad, or sane. One person or two. And if one of his worlds should begin to grow dim, a shadow world, could one say he was in danger of going sane? No. In its penetrating and fascinating exploration of the twilight hinterland of ESP and PI, Breakthrough makes a unique contribution to the literature of science fiction and introduces a writer who has already made his name in more orthodox fields. Oh. Excuse me, my computer has broken down. Good evening, L-Space Archives. What time is it there? You should be up and awake already. Probably. Another book is The Best of Edmund Hamilton's Del Rey book of classic science fiction, edited by Lee Brackett. And it is one of those rather large books featuring a lot of short stories. A short story collection, I believe, featuring... Goodness gracious, there are many a short story in such a book as this. I will not count them. It would take too long. But here are the words inside the book. If you pause, you may read the whole book now. I hope you did enjoy it. These 21 superb stories display the full cosmic scope of a writer whose epics of galactic adventure on the heroic scale have enthralled generations of science fiction readers with their conflicts of men, strange beings, and entire planets. Thundering Worlds. The Man Who Evolved. The Man Who Evolved? The man who was made of evolved atoms. In the World's Dusk, Exile, Day of Judgment, plus the unforgettable Requiem, and 15 other unique tales alive with a surging sense of wonder. Not read it. This book may interest Chris from Liminal Spaces. It is the best horror stories by Sheridan Le Fanu. And it features the vampire story Carmilla, which is very famous on the YouTube circle of booktubians. It also features some other stories, namely these ones here. Shalken the Painter, Green Tea, Fecal Green Tea, The Familiar, and Carmilla, Vampire Lovers. A saucy book indeed. And there is a woman who is eating a tomato, I believe. Can I fix my light? Give me 2 milliseconds to do this. Who knows? Another book is The Hube by Chris B.B. In space, reality begins to bend. It is the 21st century. Mass unemployment cancer, the squabbles of nation-states, all are things of the past. Not really. And in space, the hub, a successful colony has been established. But is hardly utopia. Lunatic sex abounds, the vast urban stacks are riddled with violent no-go areas, and cancer has been replaced by organ implosion. Sounds good. Which is much, much worse than cancer. Organ implosion worse than cancer? Turner is a reclaimer. His job to rescue and deprogram victims of the far-out religions. But his latest case leads him into the rarefied corridors of power. And ultimately to the Hube. A Mordell conjecture probe, the most powerful informational device yet developed, has fallen into the hands of an eccentric anarchistic group. And world government is on the brink of chaos. While in space, a huge and mysterious gas cloud threatens reality itself. Potentially a mysterious gas cloud created by myself from my flatulent excretions of air. Another book. Waiting for the Galactic Airbus, featuring the London Underground logo. I believe that is plagiarism of some description. And this book features a monkey trying to catch a spaceship. Perhaps I should have bought this book in April for Levi's April event, which I did partake in minimally. Life is never easy, least of all for Barian and Koyul, brothers from a civilization light years ahead of our own. But when they decide to create the human race, that's when the problems really begin. Enter Charity Stovall, the nice young woman from nowhere, USA, and Roy Stride, the minor league fascist from the Tabernacle of the Born-Again Saviour, formerly La Mode Dress Shopee. What? Charity loves Roy, but if they marry, they will give birth to a child who could spell doom for the human race. Barian and Koyul must act fast to prevent this from happening. And if that means literally taking the fateful couple through hell, well, then that's just too bad. Where does the monkey figure into this plot? I do not see a mention of the monkey at all. Another book is Ira Levine's The Stepford Wives. A rather famous book, for it was made into some sort of a movie in the past, when I was born. I will not even read the back of this, because everyone has seen the Stepford Wives show on the television display. These books are being spoiled by my camera's location. There we go. Another book is Robert E. Howard's Swords of Shahrazad. A Tim-themed book from Secret Fire Books, for it features a man wearing naught but a loincloth, his favourite article of clothing for very muscled men to wear. Since the days of Genghis Khan, it was said that the ancient city of Shahrazar sheltered the treasure of long-dead Shahs of Khwarezm. Many an adventurer had sought that fabled hoard, and many had died. For the Forbidden City was closely guarded. But one man called Kirby O'Donnell staked his life against the golden lure of wealth beyond man's dreams. He entered the Forbidden City in heavy disguise and found the treasure, only to be forced to leave it in the subterranean tunnels beneath the palace. Swords of Shahrazar is one of 3 exciting stories featuring Kirby O'Donnell by Robert E. Howard, creator of Conan and Cull. Good evening, Nick from the book graveyard. I cannot hear any jazz playing, so I'm not sure it is really you. I will just assume it is the case. Another book is Fallen Star by James Blish. One of the best and most realistic science fiction pieces I have read, says Kingsley Amiss, who I believe used to review books back in the past. Fallen Star. If you were looking for a fallen star, would you go happily off to the North Pole and dig holes into the seabed grubbing for pieces of rock? You wouldn't. Neither would Julian Cole. He was dragged there. Would you choose as companions a cashiered astronomer whose capacity was purely alcoholic? He sounds Scottish. A pneumatic woman. Does that mean she is a robot? Whose walk alone was enough to set a man itching. Plus a collection of failures and misfits scooped from the gutters of New York. Neither did Julian, they picked him. And when this bungling crew of heterogeneous hobos stumbled onto a world-shattering discovery, would you have believed them? Julian had to. He was there! And this looks like a picture of Julian taking off that robot lady's clothes. He looks about happy. He looks quite pleased, doesn't he? Another book is Jack E. Vance's Inferior. Was he the legendary liberator or tomorrow's space pirate? Nobody knows unless you read the inside of the book, which may occur in the future of my existence on the planet. We will see. You can just look at the picture on this. I don't want to read it. The words are too italic. Another book here is The Zen Gun by Barrington J. Bailey, the most original SF writer of his generation, says Michael Moorcock, who wrote a book about a man named Elric, and he had a big sword and he slashed people in half with the sword. The Zen Gun is a novel about the ultimate weapon that can ever exist. The subhuman who found it and tried to use it. The beasts who manned humanity's last star fleet. The widening rip in the space-time continuum. The Brief Cosmic Empire of the Pigs, The Theory of Gravitational Recession, The Super Samurai Who Served the Zen Gunner, The Colonial Girl Who Defied the Galactic Empire, and many more Nova ideas from the author, of whom Michael Moorcock said there is no one else to match him. Good evening, Austin. And Deb, hello also to you. Is this a book? It is a novel. The back of the book made it sound like it was a million short stories of disparate ideas, but it was one narrative indeed. Hello, friends. It is me. Another one of Jake, the Pulp Mortem Man's favourite authors ever, is this book here, authored by the favouriteest author of Jake from Pulp Mortem. And the book is Night of the Big Heat, which appears to be about a scary spider doing unspeakable things to a man's brain case. And there is the same picture on the back. It began with the heat, an uncanny, ever-increasing heat which came from the walls, the floor, the earth. A few people at a country inn find themselves gradually stripped of all the age and powers of modern invention and cut off from help by the gathering intensity of the heat, until, armed only with courage, they are forced to witness an invasion from a star, undetected in the vastness of space, an invasion which mankind is powerless to resist. I speak for everyone who reads science fiction books. How is everyone today? My throat is closing up. Another book is The Days of Glory, which I feel like I have already bought at some point in my life, by Brian M. Stableford. The war was to the death between man and his mirror image. 10 millennia had passed since the creation of the beasts, and those 10,000 years had obliterated the original purpose of Adam December and the construct surgeons. 10 millennia had passed since the word war was forgotten and remembered, and that word wiped out 10,000 years of peaceful coexistence. 10 millennia, 1,000 decades, 10,000 years, and for the first time humans and beasts were dying throughout the galaxy. But it should have been expected. Man had created the beasts in his own image, and unfortunately the beasts were just like him. People that are different people. Oh my. How are you enjoying the show? Should I give up yet? Ah. Would you like some ASMR, speech. Another book is The Proud Enemy by F.M. Busby, and it is the first time in paperback. Of deep space, Terran slaves and alien masters. I do not have a face today, Nick. It is my day off from existing as a mortal man. So in place of my face, there is merely a portal to another place. It could be a portal to another man's different face, but nobody will know, for I will not show it on the screen. Barton, hero of the Proud Enemy, is the only escapee from an alien planet, upon which all members of captured races are surgically altered to become like the one true race. Leading a new fleet of Earth ships, he ventures into deepest space to join the other races under attack. Thus is the first blow dealt to the alien slavers. But Barton receives advice from yet another mysterious race by means of a strange oracular pronouncement. Go to the holy planet of the alien slavers. Find the secret, and the galaxy-wide plague of raiding will stop. What is the secret of the slavers? I do not know. I have not read the book. I do not know why blurbs impinge on my well-being by asking me questions I do not know the answer to until I have read the book that they are written on. It is tantamount to vandalism. Another book is 10 Years to Doomsday, which features a spaceman, on a space horse. And the spaceman has a space shield and a space long pole jousting device. For thousands of years, the Terran Empire had known peace. Then came violent creatures whose only desire was destruction. They had quietly amassed an arsenal of weapons. They were ready for war, but Earth was not. The first planet to be conquered would be an obscure world of medieval peasants. It would be slaughter, unless some highly unconventional espionage was attempted by 3 altogether unusual Terran agents. Is it just me, or the plots of these books getting silly? I don't even know what I'm reading half the time. If only the outlaw bookseller was here, he could tell me everything I need to know about the books which I am perusing today. Another book. I don't know who Sefiros... Oh, Sefiros? Sefiros? I do know him, but I don't think he can talk. He is a bit of a ignoramus, I think. He's like a little man who's mute, and he can only communicate through the power of music. But his mind is rottened away so much that he has become an internal man only. His mind is just wiped. He cannot do the music anymore. Therefore, the communication has ended. He is just a husk of a man. Or so I believe. Anyway, here is another book called Myth Master by Leo P. Kelly. Pirate. That is all you need to know about that book. Indeed. Another book is The 5 Doors by Jack Rice. These are just advertisements for other books. Here we go. It is a science fiction book club book. New series, Volume 3, Issue 2. The cylinder just appeared overnight in the Humberside field. It could have been an abandoned fuel tank of some odd design, but the soft earth around it was unmarked. Besides, there was a door at one end. A door to other worlds. And other doors. A door to other doors. But the way through those doors proved far from simple. Finding it was Gordy's job, and he soon realized that the 5 doors constituted the most difficult problem that mankind had ever been set. And that the stakes were high, very high. The whole future of the human race was on the line. As it is in a lot of science fiction books. That is why it is called SF. Another book is A.E. Van Vought's The Wizard of Lynn. Not The Wizard of Jim. The Wizard of Lynn. And it is the stunning sequel to Empire of the Atom. The Earth, after an atomic holocaust, had reverted to a strange kind of barbarism, where men could build spaceships but could not communicate except by the most primitive of means. Smoke signals. That sounds preposterous indeed. So it came as a sickening shock for Lord Clain Lynn, ruler of Earth, to learn, when he captured an alien invader's ship, that messages were winging to the invader's homeland far across the galaxy from Earth. Lord Clain Lynn then knew that not only must he fight the invading Rish forces at a technological disadvantage, but he could not rely on help from his fellow Earthmen, because they were stupid people who could not speak, much like Sefiros. A secret organization was working against him, threatening the dangerous balance of freedom that still existed on his scarred planet. And it is a New English Library book, which I believe Nick from the Book Graveyard would be very pleased about if he found it in a shop for him to buy. Or maybe not, because it is science fiction. He would just roll his eyes or something. Here we go. It is another book by Alexei Panshin. Starwell. An Anthony Villiers adventure. Co-starring Torv the Trog, which appears to be a little frog gecko lizard man. A small airless planetide set deep in the heart of the Flammarian Rift. Due to its location, it is a minor hub of commerce within the Nashwit Empire, and though it is equipped with elegant dining rooms and casinos, luxury suites and expensive shops, Wu and Fabricant's guidebook claims that Starwell is a dull place to visit, and that travellers should avoid layovers if they can. But Wu and Fabricant had not been shown the secret basements, nor told the nature of the things stored there. If they had been, they might still have advised against layovers, but not because Starwell was dull. What is this? What does this say? Shaggy Maggot? What? Shaggy Maggot Incorporated? I will need to look that up on the internet. Shaggy Maggot Incorporated. Maybe they once owned the book, and they used it as the blueprint for their entire business empire. Or not. Another book is Nebula Maker by Olaf Stapledon, author of Last and First Men, which is another book I own but have not read, obviously. The ultimate SF writer. It was at the moment of creation that the nebulae had first found awareness, and they were to burn with life for countless millennia, changing, struggling, shifting on an axis that had only the mystery at its centre. The launching of the cosmos, the first cosmical war, the appearance of Brightheart the Saint, and of Firebolt the Revolutionary all led to the mystery. The terrifying, eternally fascinating enigma of the Nebula Maker. I still don't know what that book is about, even. But it is a classic of science fiction, so that will be a good thing to have in my library today. Good evening, Shuffleboil. It is I, Sir Willie Todgerson Jr., the science fiction author, doing a video live show for you. Just you. All these other people are on another plane of existence, I hope. Yes, Elephant Bangs Train. Elephant Bangs Train. By Willie Cotswillie. It is a book. William Cotswilking is one of the foremost practitioners of imaginative, heartwarming, mind-popping, brain-bending, thought-teasing, simple truth-revealing writing. The 16 stories contained in this book are a vivid testimony to his talent. And he looks a bit like Charles Manson. Let us see the titles of the stories within the book. A most incredible meal. Can I do this? I don't think my light works very well. Marie, follow the eagle. The doorman. The bird watcher. The jewel of Amitabha. Nippy. Elephant Bangs Train. The magician. Turning Point Tiger Bridge. Stroke of Good Luck. A True Nurse Romance. The Trap. Soldier in the Blanket. The Great Liar. And Elephant's Graveyard. Let me have a look. Elephant Bangs Train. I want to see if this is what everyone thinks it is. No. Clearly not. Another book is Lord of the Rings by the Harvard Lampoon, which is the first book in the Lord of the Rings series. It says here it is a parody, but this is misinformation. The book was released first, and J.R.R. Tolkien read it using his time machine, and then he went back to the past and wrote The Lord of the Rings, based on this here story. This is all true information. Here is a map, and J.R.R. Tolkien took that map, and he made Middle-earth. Do you like what you doth see? Said the voluptuous elf maiden, as she I apologize, viewers, I've forgotten how to speak words. Do you like what you doth see? Said the voluptuous elf maiden, as she provocatively parted the folds of her robe to reveal the rounded, shadowy glories within. Rito's throat was dry, though his head reeled with desire and ale. Maybe I will read the entire Lord of the Rings series on video cassette tape, but probably not. Another book is Walk to the End of the World, the classic fable of life after the Holocaust. In the world after the wasting, humanity survives an isolated feudal stronghold, scratching a meager living among Earth's ruins. One such community, the Grim Holdfast, has evolved a mythology blaming women for the cataclysm. Locked in the Wellesian underground of docks, furnaces, and food factories, the women are held captive as breeding animals and slaves. From the horrors of Holdfast, one stubborn woman, Aldera, sets out to find the legendary Free Fens in the scorched plains beyond the wild. I honestly cannot tell if this book is feminist or unfeminist. We will see one day when the book is read by somebody, probably me. Maybe. Another book is an Ursula Le Guin. They forgot the K. They're always forgetting her K. It is The Farthest Shore, which is one of the Earthsea novels. Is that what it's called? Earthsea? Earthsea? Yes, it is Earthsea. I think it is the third book. I do not know. I have not read any of the Earthsea books, obviously. Although I have read The Lathe of Heaven by Ursula K. Le Guin, and it had a man as the main character, which is why I read it. And it was a very good book indeed. Another book in this video of 1029 books is The Loved Dead and Other Revisions by H.P. Lovecraft. And it is a strange sort of a book. It says, apart from devising his own works in his Cthulhu mythos cycle, He also collaborated in his day with many younger writers of the uncanny and eerie. Available for the first time in paperback, this collection features stories to which the master of horror added his own ingenious touch. And the stories inside appear to be by other humans. Adolphe de Castro, Zelia Bishop, Hazel Held, Sonia H. Green, C.M. Eddy Jr., Henry Scheidhead, Henry S. Whitehead, The Tree on the Hill by Dwayne W. Rimmel, and R. H. Barlow. I think it is just H.P. Lovecraft has taken stories of other authors and just put his own stuff into them, like Cthulhu's tentacle beard onto some random man in one of the stories, possibly. That could be a thing in the book. These stories look very long for rolling shorties. Rolling longies would be much more good to do. Another book here is Philip Willey and Edwin Balmer's After Worlds Collide. The classic sequel to When Worlds Collide. Lots of fists on the front there, pumping pink purple fists. When the group of survivors from Earth landed on Bronson Beta, they expected absolute desolation. This Earth-like planet from another universe had been hurtling through space, cold, and utter darkness for countless millennia. All life should have perished millions of years ago. But the Earth people found a breathtakingly beautiful city, encased in a huge transparent metal bubble. Transparent metal bubble. Didn't Scotty from Star Trek invent transparent metal? He should receive royalties for this, indeed. Magnificent apartments filled with every luxury. Food for a lifetime in the vast empty kitchens, but with no trace either of life or death. Then the humans learned that they were not alone on Bronson Beta. Charles Bronson was also there, shooting everyone in the face for minor crimes, like stealing a packet of sweets from the local shop. Another book by Marion Zimmer Bradley, The Evil Scum Woman, The Brass Dragon. This looks like some sort of a scary horror typey book with a sticker stuck to the back, which I cannot remove with my toothbrush. Not working. Marion Zimmer Bradley was evil scum. Let me consult something. Yes, she was evil scum, Shuffle. Look it up. I will not speak of it here on the internet. Barry Cowan woke up screaming in a hospital room with a nightmare where his memory should have been. and a curious brass figurine in his pocket that made the nightmare seem all too likely to be true. Yet for all the emptiness, there was a familiarity about the stranger who appeared, claiming to be his father. A horrifying familiarity, tied somehow to the dreams of another world that invaded his sleep. Where had he been? What had happened to shock his mind so deeply that it refused to remember? Unknown to Barry, his deeper self had been wise in forgetting. If his efforts to call back the lost year of his life should succeed, would he survive? I don't know. Bloody book asking me a question again. Vampires of Venus. It depends on the species of monkey, I think. Karl Mannheim's Vampires of Venus. The boy looks across at a girl where she clung tenaciously to the back of her strange mount, and his heart went out to this brave sister of hers. Her eyes were closed, and her breathing was gusty and irregular, like my flatulence farts. But still her white knees clung to the shoulders of grey fur, and still her fingers grasped the horny roots of the great grey wings that were beating more slowly now. He sucked in his breath and wondered what it must be like to die from the flameless fire. Another blurb that says nothing. Nothing at all. Read it and find out. Another book is Lords of the Starship, which I am almost positive I already bought. But I cannot find it in the library, so maybe I did not. I do have a Mark S. Gaston book. I haven't read it. The ship was to be 7 miles long, 1/3 of a mile in diameter, and was to have a wingspan of 3.5 miles. Sounds like my book, The Texan, whose arms were spaceships. It would take 2.5 centuries to construct. Once built, it would carry mankind away from a ruined world. It was humanity's last hope, a means of escape from a world dying in its own poisonous atmosphere, peopled by mutants and monsters. But did the starship represent salvation, or final victory for the dark, hideous forces of Salazar? Salazar who? Is this Salazar? He looks kind of mysterious. Good evening, Dad-like book. Welcome to hell. Another book is this collection of scary short stories. It is the best from the Pan Book of Horror Stories. Good evening, Scott Woodard. My good friend from the American country of America, North America-ish. My goodness, it is Tim also. I'm being overwhelmed by famous YouTubers. Anyway, Dark Forces, featuring many a story of a scary nature. I think my friend Sebastian Imperius might enjoy this book more than I. But he's temporarily corpse dead. What does it have in it? It has an Alan Ryan story. Stephen E. King, Stanley Ellen, Basil Copper, John Lennon. John Lennon? What? I have no idea what's going on. Did John Lennon write a short story of a scary nature? I can't... Who knows? Yes. It is another book. It is In the Valley of Statues by Robert Holdstock, the World Fantasy Award-winning author who nobody has heard of except me. For I gave him £1 once, and he bought a typewriter. It is a short story collection. From the landscapes of prehistory to the 40th millennium AD, from post-war England to the full canvas of the inhabited galaxy, Robert Holdstock's haunting mythic imagination weaves 8 stories of arresting power and ingenuity. Tim, have you been spying on me? That did not happen at all. Anyway, this has the story Mythago Wood, which eventually became sort of a book. A big book. But this is just a little short story in a book of collected tales by Robert Holdstock. Another book is this anthology, Isaac Asimov's Space of Her Own. What does it say? There's something sexist about this. Welcome to the worlds of the woman science fiction writer. This exciting collection takes you on a 17-tale tour of the wondrous visions of award-winning masters and promising newcomers, from their alien landscapes in far-distant worlds, to high adventure among the stars, to startling and terrifying technological possibilities. Yes, women are allowed to write this sort of thing nowadays. Join Ursula K. Le Guin, Sidney J. Van Sycock, Joan DeVinge, and many more acclaimed women writers who have broken new ground in science fiction by being women, and who have made a space of their own. Who else is in the book? We shall see. Shauna McCarthy, who is the editor of the book. It is not Isaac Asimov. His name is just on the front to sell copies. Connie Wills, Pat Cadigan, Mildred Downey Broxson, Lee Killoch, J.O. Jepson, Lee Kennedy, Tanith Lee, I've heard of her, Julie Stevens, Connie Wills again, Ursula K. Le Guin, Shirley Wilkerson, 2 secs, Pamela Sargent, I know her name, Joan DeVinge, Sharon Webb, P.J. McQuarrie, Stephanie Smith, and Sidney J. Van Syok. It mentions C.L. Moore in the front of the book here, but she does not have a story in the book. Yes, Levi, that is how they do it. Another book is The Still Small Voice of Trumpets by Lloyd Biggle Jr., another junior man. Much like myself, of course. Pat. This is another... Ooh, it is a novel. The Interplanetary Relations Bureau had one basic rule. Democracy imposed from without is the severest form of tyranny. That was why the IPR teams working throughout the galaxy operated in secret, mingling with the unsuspecting natives in their efforts to bring democracy to the humanoid worlds. Kerr, though, was a problem. The king's shrewd understanding of his downtrodden people, backed up with periodic torture, defeated the IPR's efforts. Until Cultural Survey Officer Forzen arrived. Despite a frightening lack of knowledge, a price on his head, and treason in his own ranks, Forzen fought his own unorthodox way to a solution that resulted in a revolution. Spoilers! The book has been spoiled by Pat. Another book is The Worm Ouroboros by E.R. Edison. There's a little castle on the cover here. Do you see it? Very nice. The castle is old. Illustrated by Keith Henderson. Picture of a man. Picture of a woman. No more pictures. Wonders without end. His freedom from the overlordship of Witchland won in fair fight, Lord Just of Demonland was nearly slain by the treacherous wizardry of the Witch King Goris, and Just's brother Goldry Bluescore was spirited from the sight of men to rescue Goldry Bloodsco and destroy forever the power of Witchland. Just had but the tattered remnants of his army, 2 heroes to fight by his side, and a knight sent vision that laid it on him to dare the dread slopes of Kostra Belorn, the slopes that few had looked on and none had conquered. The worm Ouroboros weaves the red thread of blood, the golden thread of romance, the black thread of dire sorcery, and treasure with the warm hues of high adventure, and daring into a fantastic tapestry that unrolls richly in never-ending wonder and delight. And it cost 195 pence. At some point in the past. And it is a big, thick book. We will see if it gets read by me in the future of time. Another book is the following book, which is over here. Yes, friends, it is Mockingbird by Walter Tevi. And I think it is another science fiction book club book. Volume 2, Issue 1. I already had a copy of this, but when I saw this lovely hardbackian novel, I had to pick it up. There are novels of the future which belong to the realm of science fiction, where one delights in the creation of strange worlds and peoples. And the author's predictions... I must go briefly for a moment. I have returned to the stream. And yes, Austin, you may be correct. But at least you did not shout at me for smoking a pipe inside of the household. Like someone I know. You all know about this book. Let's get on to another book. Here it is the Typhon Intervention by Douglas R. Mason. And it is another science fiction book club book. Indeed. Volume 2, Issue 10. And these books are very good quality indeed. Is that the one in your town of York, Shuffleboil? I cannot get there to steal them all from under your feet. It is too far to walk. The Typhon Intervention. For many centuries, Earth planet had been under observation from the dying world of Typhon. There was nothing the Typhonians did not know about its physical properties and the lifestyle of its people. From where they stood, they reckoned it was gift-wrapped as a new home for their ancient race. The takeover would bring death or enslavement to the existing population. But then they were only primitives, hardly counted as human by Typhonian standards. Typhonian. It said Typhonian further up. Colonel Andrew Mackey and his Special Duties Section were the first to tangle with the invaders. By the time he identified the Earth planet had a problem, the Typhonians, again, had already established their unseen bridgehead. D-Day was close. Close indeed. This also sounds like a book of some sort of military type things. Please, yes. Another book is this book by Ron Goulart called Crackpot. And this is not a science fiction book club book, even though it looks like it should be. It is an ex-library book, apparently. From Argyle and Butt, I believe it is pronounced. The Republic of South California is at war with Mexico. A war carried out almost entirely by robots. But a person who calls himself Crackpot has invented a little machine. The Gadget. The Gadget, which makes the robot subject to the Gadget owner's will. This is causing great concern to National Robot and Android, the robot manufacturers. A totally zany story with some hilarious moments. Science fiction is no place for humour. I will not read this book ever again. Or, initially either. Here is a Barry Malzberg book called Screen. And I believe it is his first book ever. And the cover is mildly titillating, if you ask me. Now, this book is a special book indeed, for it did once belong to Christopher Priest, the science fiction author who wrote many books indeed. More than, not me, but more than other people. More than, Brittleby. A first novel by a remarkable young American author, Barry Malzberg, whose talent in exploiting the chiaroscuro interplay of dream and reality is allied with a demonic sense of humour. Thank you, Bibliomancer's Study. I own 1,000 of Christopher Priest's books, somehow. I have just found them all in a big pile in a shop. In the tradition of Nabokov, he draws his readers over the precipice of rationality into a realm where the dreams are real. A realm in which the hero, a humble investigator for the New York City Welfare Department, finds himself married to Sophia Loren, seducing Elizabeth Taylor, and seduced by Bridget Bardot, all in one tortured weekend. Poor man. It would be nice if it was signed by Barry Malzberg, but it is not. But it is still a nice thing to have. I am going to drink some poisonous juice. Thank you. Another book is this yellow SF Golanks book by Theodore Sturgeon, called Visions and Venturers. It is Iron Brew. It is in a blue glass. I'm not allowed to drink anything but Iron Brew due to my Scottish condition. This is a short story collection of Theodore Sturgeon, featuring the hag Selene, the Martian and the Moron, the Nail and the Oracle. Won't you walk? Talent, 1 foot and the grave, the touch of your hand, and the travelling crag. It is okay, chubby green duck. I will recover in time. Another book is City in the Sky by Kurt Siodmak, or Siodmak, or something. This is another book club book, but not a science fiction book club. It is the Readers' Union group of book clubs, I think. I don't know what that is, though. The blurb on this book is gigantically massive. The International Space City was conceived and built through the cooperation of all Earth nations as an international political oasis and research center. It has become as well an enormous resort for the equivalent of today's jet setters. The prototype of the ISC, a relatively tiny satellite, also orbits the Earth as a site of permanent space exile for political prisoners. The limited capacity of the space prison presents a bizarre problem. News of an incoming prisoner necessitates the elimination of a resident to make room, since all sentences are for life, and ground will not make the selection, feigning ignorance of the situation, leaving blah blah blah. Space prison. Another book is The Wingspan of Severed Hands, which appears to be like some sort of self-published book by Weird Punk Books. Maybe not self-published. Maybe it is a indie publisher. And this appears to be a book featuring the King in Yellow, I think. 3 women, 1 battle. A world gone mad. Cities abandoned, dreams invade waking minds. An invisible threat lures those who oppose its otherworldly violence to become acolytes of a nameless cult. As a teenage girl struggles for autonomy, a female weapons director in a secret research facility develops a living neurocognitive device that explodes into self-awareness. Discovering their hidden emotional bonds, all 3 unveil a common enemy through dissonant realities that intertwine in a cosmic battle across hallucinatory dreamscapes. Time is the winning predator, and every moment spirals deeper into the heart of the beast. Koch's latest novella is what might have happened if Robert W. Chambers had been a surrealist with a penchant for body horror. A strange trip to Carcosa offered in thickly evocative language. The Wingspan of Severed Hands is a highly original hallucination, with a woman on the front. We are nearing the end. There are 3 books remaining in the haul, and this is the first of the last 3. Worlds Apart by Richard Cowper. Another one of these book clubbian books, I believe. Readers' Union. Group of book clubs. Yes. Same as the last one. George Cringe is a middle-aged school teacher married with several children. His marriage, while not a failure, is hardly a great success, and he is somewhat drawn towards a fellow teacher, Jennifer Lawton, who is much younger than he is. No, Nick. They're all science fiction books. For relaxation, George is taking to creating an endless SF saga set on the planet Agenor, where his hero and heroine, Zilbrin and Orgip, face various problems, the current one involving an outbreak of psychedelic mushrooms. Meanwhile, on the other side of the galaxy, on the planet Chinaz, live Zilbrin and his wife Orgip. Bryn is currently composing a long, weird narrative called Shorge Gringe's Pilgrimage, set on a strange world called Earth. With this new novel, Richard Cowper confirms his status as one of the most entertaining and readable SF writers working at the present time. The present time being the year 1975, indeed. When I was born. The second last penultimate, if you will, book in the hall is The Dragon Hiker's Guide to Battlefield Covenant at June's Edge, Odyssey 2, by David Langford, which is a book, was it Drunken Dungeons? 2 seconds. Here we go. It is a science fiction collection of books. What books? Oh! And it is signed by David Langford in 1988. It is a collection of short stories by this man, and they are all based on authors who exist in reality. The Mad God's Omelette. I wonder who this book could be by. Willie Hope Hodgson. Willie Hope Hodgson. Willie Todgerson the and this sounds like it could be a very funny book indeed, even though humor has no place in science fiction, as I said earlier. Yes, I will read it one day. I am more likely to read that book than others, for the words are small, because the author is a comedian. The final book today is Winterwood and Other Hauntings by Keith Robert. And this is another collection of short stories by Keith Roberts. And it has 7 stories of scary, haunty behaviors. Welcome to a haunted world. The world of Keith Roberts' powerful and unique imagination. These stories show Roberts' fascination for the curious and unclassifiable, and as ever his mastery of character and detail. Susan introduces the reader to a schoolgirl with awesome psychic powers. Sounds familiar. But the sensitive treatment turns a stock situation into a brilliant fable. The Scarlet Lady, predating Stephen King's Christine, has the genuine stench of petrol, oil, and demons. Well, that sounds like the first 2 stories are Stephen King stories. The Eastern Windows chillingly continues the theme. By contrast, Winterwood introduces us to a fearsome locale that Roberts insists is real, but presumably is not. Mrs. Chibber transports the reader with complete conviction to the smog-ridden London of the 50s and unfolds the strange tale of a young graphic designer haunted by a woman from the 18th century. The Snake Princess, equally atmospheric, tells the story of a boy's doomed bizarre love, while Everything in the Garden presents the tour de force of a haunting within a haunting. A double haunting. A hauntingception. Hauntception. A new word has been formed today. Probably. That is the end of the video. What was your favorite book? What book did you enjoy to look at the most? Well, let me see. What one could that be, Tim? Oh, probably this one, I would imagine, with the crab people on the front. Yes, very good indeed. The Spider-Man was also quite scary. The King in Yellow, yes. I don't know what one I enjoy. I think Levi would like this one. It is the Ape Monkey book. Tim, I think you missed this one. And this one? Maybe? Elephant Bangs Train. This one is illegal to own in the United States of America. Yes. Anyway, I will now leave, probably. I need to sleep. The long sleep of death. I hope you have enjoyed this, and just leave a comment if you want me to never do it again. Or another comment if you would like it in the future to also occur. We will see what happens. Thank you, friends, for joining me in my first live thing on the internet computer. Now I will go away. I hope you all enjoyed that. I think I said this already. Probably. Goodbye, everyone. All of you are nice people, and I am very happy that you watched my video. Bye.